Hey family, Dad here. Hope you're having a great day. On this video, I just wanted to talk about layoffs. You never know when they're going to be happening. Just be prepared. So this is coming from me, a 49-year-old dad who's been laid off 4 times. My first layoff was a huge surprise back in 2009. I wasn't prepared financially or emotionally. I was angry, upset, and I only relied on severance and a little help from my parents during this transition. I was a single dad, a fresh single dad who had my kids half the time. I didn't have an emergency fund, and I definitely learned a lot and needed to prepare financially for future layoffs. Now, fortunately, my next role started in January of 2010, and that's when the second layoff happened in October of 2015. I had a good run with this company, but the month prior, in September of 2015, they laid off a good chunk of people. Now, mind you, this is a very small company. They probably only had like 150 employees total in the United States. But after that first wave in September 2015, I didn't plan my next move after that. I didn't update my resume. I assumed they were done with layoffs. But sure enough, my role, along with several others, were impacted the following month in October of 2015. But this layoff was the most disappointing. I really enjoyed my time and had a lot of success with this role. Fortunately, I was definitely prepared financially for this layoff, as I had a fully funded emergency fund. I think I had roughly about 6 months worth, and I was receiving a generous severance. And luckily, my next role was only a couple months later. I started a new role in January of 2016, so I was able to save a little chunk of that severance into my emergency fund. Now, for my third layoff, this happened in December of 2022. I wasn't disappointed with this layoff. In fact, I was kind of relieved because I really didn't enjoy this job. It paid great. It was the highest paid role I've ever had in my working career. I guess maybe I just stuck around for the pay. I got notified in November of 2022 that my services are no longer needed. This was at the beginning of the tech layoffs, and they provided me with a generous severance in 2022. Now, this happened in December of 2022, and fortunately, I found my next role in February of 2023, so there's only literally a 1-month gap. So for that role that I started in February 2023, that's when my fourth layoff happened with this role, and it happened in May of 2024. This came as a huge surprise. I had a productive 2023 and a great annual review, and was looking forward to big things happening in 2024. But in April 2024, the president of the division, and this was a pretty big company, they announced a restructuring. They brought in a whole bunch of new leadership. All existing middle management and individual contributors such as myself had to interview for these new roles. Now, mind you, I think they reduced the headcount by 20 to 30%. So we all, if we wanted to, had to interview for these new roles. I was a finalist, but unfortunately I didn't get the role. And if we didn't get the role, they would provide severance. And it was a really good severance for me for only 15 months of work. So fortunately, I was able to have a quick turnaround and find my next role the following month. So at the end of May of 2024, that was my end of my tenure with that company. And my new role started in June, so the following month. So I was able to pocket all the severance, which I'm very fortunate to do, and have been with this role through today. So good things that came out of all my layoffs is that I did receive pretty good severances for all my 4 layoffs, and I found new roles pretty quickly. So I was very fortunate. So for anyone who has not been through a layoff, or maybe has been through one, majority of the layoffs are going to be unexpected, or we don't think our roles will be impacted. Just be prepared financially. Having a minimum of 6-month emergency fund to cover, 6 months worth of expenses makes a huge difference in your stress and anxiety. I have 12 months worth of emergency fund because that makes me comfortable. So for 2025, I would suggest do whatever you can to cut costs and save that extra money in a high yield savings account. Slowly build it up. Tax return season is coming. Put that chunk of money into savings. Make it a year to save. Sacrifice 1 year of frivolous spending, traveling, whatever it is, and build up that emergency fund. Have that cushion against unexpected emergencies. I've had a couple of them this year. Look at previous videos I've shared on how I prepare for layoffs and financial emergencies. So let me know your thoughts How did you handle your layoffs? Or are you prepared for the next layoff? Comment, like, subscribe. I would definitely appreciate it. So that's all I got. Be safe, be happy, and be positive.